Welcome to the third episode of For Pete's Sake. I'm Pete, joined alongside my co-host Gibbs.
What it do, baby?
All right, and as always, we're joined by the man behind the glass, producer Trev.
Howdy.
For our 4th of July episode,
Happy birthday, America.
we are primarily going to focus on the pride of American sports today. We're going to kick off the show with a segment dedicated to the United States women's national team who won their 4th World Cup today.
They did play today.
Good job, ladies.
Goals by Megan Rapinoe, Rose Lavelle, big time win.
Oh, of course, anytime you can bring home a World Cup, men or women, it's a big deal.
Megan Rapinoe won the Golden Boot, I believe, right, Trev? The Golden Boot.
That is correct. That is for the most goals scored in the tournament. She just beat out Alex Morgan 6-5. So
Who won the Silver Boot? I think it's silver.
I don't think
that's
that
a real
exists.
trophy.
It does exist. I watched the post-game celebration. There's a silver boot for second
Is
place.
there a bronze boot?
No, but there's a bronze trophy that goes to the second best player in the tournament.
Why would you want that?
So who won that?
That was Rose Lavelle who won the boot.
Oh, no way.
I did my research.
We dominated everything then.
Rose Lavelle, favorite player out there. She was terrific. Great goal by her. As you said, Megan Rapinoe had, I believe, 6 goals, as Trev said, 3 penalty kicks on the World Cup.
Yeah, the whole team as a whole really just... You could tell watching them, they were by far the most complete team of any team in the tournament. Obviously, some of the other teams had individual players that were just as good as some of our ladies, but as a collective, no one was really close to us the entire tournament.
Well, they started out the World Cup with a 13-0 victory versus Thailand, and they beat their own record for goals in the World Cup of 26. It's a lot of goals.
Throughout the whole
Yeah,
World
throughout
Cup
the entire tournament, 26.
Well, how many games did they actually play? 6 or 7?
I think 7.
7.
Yeah, so that's over 3.5 goals a game, which is ridiculous.
Well, great job by them. Pride of America this 4th of July weekend. We're going to transition now into another big topic that's been going on this weekend. Who's been watching the free agency news? Anybody?
Of course I've been watching it. I mean, it started at 6 p.m. last Sunday, and it pretty much outside of Kauai ended at about 6:10 on Sunday.
Well, we obviously really nailed those predictions last week. I believe I was 2 for 5, so 40%.
Well, obviously, if you didn't listen to the podcast last week, we nailed every one of our predictions.
Oh, yeah.
I was 1 for 1. Michael Carter-Williams did re-sign with Orlando.
Not the main Red Claws. It was a tough week for me there. But the big news came, obviously, Saturday morning. First off, Woj, I think, tweeted it at 1 a.m. What the hell is he doing up at 1 a.m. tweeting news like this? But anyways, Kawhi Leonard to the Clippers with Paul George getting traded from the Thunder. How bad do you feel for Russell Westbrook?
I mean, there's no way Westbrook is going to be on that team. He's going to get traded. I mean, he's probably going to end up on the Knicks, so I do feel bad for him. But at the end of the day, his career is kind of coming down. He's getting old. He has a bad contract, and he can't shoot. He doesn't even have a jump shot anymore.
Looks like Jar Jar Binks.
He looks like a turtle, kind of like one of the Ninja Turtles or something like that.
I can see it. A little bandana on or something.
Oh, yeah.
Which one? There's a Leonardo, Michelangelo, Raphael, Donatello.
I mean,
Nailed it.
I know nothing about these turtles, but the name Michelangelo would really fit Russell Westbrook. It's just so extravagant, and really, it's at the end of the day, you're just a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle.
But I'd love to see him on the Knicks as well. Kevin Durant, obviously, in Brooklyn, and he missed that pick. But anyways, I'd love to see those two going at it in the same city. Talk about battles in the same city now. Kawhi, Paul George, and the Clippers. LeBron, Anthony Davis on the Lakers. 2 good teams. Boogie Cousins going to the Lakers as well. Some good rosters there.
Yeah, no, playing out of the same area, playing out of the same stadium, honestly, it's going to be great to see those games. I was wondering how season tickets work out there. If you buy season tickets to the Clippers and they're playing the Lakers, how does that work?
Well, that's a good point.
I think it's just whatever team has the home game.
Yeah.
Designated.
There you go.
Love to see him play in the playoffs because they wouldn't have to leave the stadium.
I mean, I think it's fair to say those are probably, just looking at it preliminarily, that they're the 2 best teams in the league right now.
Yeah, I mean, my immediate thoughts about NBA free agency is it opened up Just the entire league opened up a lot this season. The East is definitely more stacked for the first time since about like 2008. And I think anyone really has a shot to make a run. There's 10, 12 teams in there that could actually win this thing this year.
Well, there's a big debate between now which is the better roster between the Clippers and the Lakers. Obviously, they're both stacked. Clippers were obviously very good last year. They took the Warriors to 6 games in the playoffs, and you're adding Kawhi and Paul George too. Most of the same players on there, so you know they're going to be good. With the Lakers, it all comes down, I think, to DeMarcus Cousins and Kyle Kuzma. DeMarcus Cousins on a 1-year, $3.5 million deal. If he can play well, like he did, 2 years ago when he was with the Pelicans, it's a great signing for them, no matter what. I mean, $3.5 million is pretty cheap for the NBA. And just see if Kuzma comes off the bench, see how he can do for them. He's a 22-year-old kid from Flint, Michigan. Love to see it.
Yeah, I think Kuzma's going to be a big part. I don't think LeBron, they have the load management now, and I don't think LeBron or AD are going to be playing maybe 60, somewhere in between 60 and 70 games this season. So Kuzma and some of those guys coming off the bench are going to have to be able to step up so LeBron and AD are able to go into the playoffs healthy.
I want to see how good Anthony Davis really is. Because everyone knows that he's a 4-time something all-star MVP candidate a couple years ago, but no one watched the Pelicans play. So no one really knows, I think, how good he is. And the Pelicans were never a great team, so it's interesting to see. He might be on number 2 instead of a number 1, which is always going to be on the Lakers.
I mean, I think no doubt he's got to be a top 10 player in the league, and you team him up with LeBron, who's, he might not be the best player anymore, but he's without a doubt top 3.
Well, it's a well-rested LeBron, too. And you can bet he's probably coming for vengeance this year. Maybe not in the regular season, but in the postseason, not being able to play.
Yeah, there's no question about it.
Well, Gibbs, I know that you're a big Motown sports fan as me, and you got a list of the Pistons free agents they signed this offseason.
Yeah, so right off the bat, we signed Derrick Rose, and he's a man who's a man who's battled injuries his entire career. He's now a Piston, and he hasn't played 70+ games in a season since his MVP year in 2011. Pete, do you think Rose can bloom again in Detroit?
I see what you did there, bud.
Beautiful.
Well, I'd love to see him start over Reggie Jackson because I'm not a big Reggie Jackson fan. And Derrick Rose, I believe, last year had a 50-point game.
Oh, yeah.
So
that was a magical game to watch, by the way. Just the raw emotion he showed after all.
The end of the game, he was in tears.
That was incredible, yeah.
So, I think he still can give you about 18, 20 points a game based on his points per game. Love to see him out there. He's developed a 3-point shot. It will bring in fans. It's exciting to see. And it's an exciting player for Detroit to have.
Yeah, no, you pretty much nailed my opinion spot on. I think he'll be able to provide a spark off the bench, and he'll definitely be a fan favorite. I think Reggie Jackson has battled his fair share of injuries, and I think having 2 injury-prone point guards might hurt us. Because I don't think we were going to be able to get that many minutes out of Rose, or being able to rely on Rose to move up into that starting point guard position.
Well, we were talking about this earlier. This rumor circulating that the Pistons could be interested in Russell Westbrook. If you can trade for Russell Westbrook and perhaps put Reggie Jackson into that deal, maybe a couple of young players, maybe Luke Kennard or something like that, I would take it. Gives him one of the top 10 players in the NBA. You don't know if he can lead a team to a championship, but I'd just love to see him on the Pistons. Talk about an exciting player for the team.
Yeah, we were kind of just talking about the cons of Westbrook, but I would still love him being a Pistons. It would just make our team fun to watch. And I know he's not what he used to be, and people have kind of said that he's a teammate. He's not a great teammate, but I would still love to have him as a Piston and just watch our team become a little more competitive.
Have him be the starter, maybe D. Rose off the bench?
Yeah, no, I was saying our potential starting 5 could be Westbrook at point guard, Rose at shooting guard. If Kennard was not in that trade, he'd be the small forward, and then Griffin at power forward, Drummond at center. But then, hear me out, we signed Melo and put him at small forward.
No.
No, I know there's no way, but you got to believe in something, right?
No, I don't. Don't want him.
Honestly, I think if we did make that trade, just looking at the landscape of the East and really the NBA as a whole now, there's no team I can think of right now that has 3 bona fide superstars on their roster. So, yeah, I don't think we would be the favorites if we signed Westbrook, but we would definitely give ourselves a shot, and we'd probably be, I want to say, like a 4 or 5 seed.
I'd say we'd have one superstar on the team.
Yeah, but I mean, Blake Griffin's still a really damn good player.
Yeah, Griffin
Star
can still
player.
ball.
And then
Drummond's a good defensive player
yeah,
for what he is.
Yeah.
it would take pressure off of him offensively too if we
I
had
mean,
Westbrook.
Yeah, there's no doubt that our team would improve off of that. I mean, we would definitely be giving away a bit of our future. I'm sure we'd have to mix in quite a few draft picks, but at that point, who cares? I just want to be able to watch competitive basketball and not watch our team be able to compete for like a 6, 7, or 8 seed in the playoffs.
I mean, it drives me nuts when we watch, teams trade away, what the Clippers trade away 5 first-round picks or whatever to get Paul
I think
George.
it was
like
6.
And people are saying, man,
like
well,
years down the line,
that's
too.
a lot to give up. But my thing is, as a Pistons fan, I've seen a number of lottery picks over the years that we've missed on. I can think of 5 in the past, 7, 8 years that we missed on, or we passed up on somebody that's great. So just because you have a high draft pick doesn't mean, and if you give up maybe 2 or 3 first-round picks for Russell Westbrook, you know what you're getting in Russell Westbrook. You don't necessarily know what you're getting.
Yeah, it's taking the for sure versus, playing the lottery and hoping you get something better. I can't think of a single pick that we have outside of Drummond and Kennard who've actually stuck with our team.
I mean, Ellenson was a bust. Obviously, we just drafted Doumbouya.
Debunya.
But,
Something like that.
The rumor is if we do go for Westbrook, he would be part of the trade package.
The boom.
Really, if you look at the Pistons' draft history, yes, Drummond was an all-star a few times, but the last truly great player they drafted was probably Grant Hill. I mean, and that was over 20
that's a
years ago.
major throwback.
So
the Pistons teal.
Yeah.
Well, while we're talking about sports, this interesting discussion came up over the weekend. We were watching some fireworks. CC, credit to the Potok family on this one. The definition of a sport. Create a heated debate. Gives, what are your thoughts on the definition of a sport? What is the definition of a sport?
I have a pretty short and sweet definition, and I think there just needs to be some sort of ball or puck passed around or used or some sort of object that's being played for it to be considered a sport. So
would you consider running a sport then?
I would see that more of a competition or a race versus a sport.
So there's a difference between a competition and a sport?
Yeah, that's my take.
What about things that are activities, let's say, that are in the Olympics? Because it's the Olympic sports. Would you consider those sports or those competitions?
Well, things like golf, they involve a ball, they involve an object.
You're
tennis,
teetering on the
pong.
end. You're teetering on the edge.
I mean,
there with
it
golf.
fits my generic description. So that I think that's what I would have to stick with.
I disagree, and here's why. I would
Let's
say
hear it.
I would say that anything that's involved in the Olympics, I would qualify as a sport. By the way, breakdancing is going to be in the Olympics.
So you think breakdancing is a sport then?
That's the one that really hurts my argument, to be honest. That one hurts. But dancing, maybe. No, I don't know.
The thing about
Why would
dancing, how is that a scored event? There's not technically a winner and a loser. It's up to someone's opinion.
So
exactly.
judging, that's another conversation that they were having, CC, the Potok family. If it's judged, somebody said is not considered a sport. Correct? I think that's what they said.
Yeah, that's another good definition.
But I would argue, well, would you consider boxing a sport then? Or gymnastics a sport? Because those are judged, but I feel like we consider them sports. Well, I would consider them as sports.
Well, in the case of boxing, yes, it is judged a lot of the time, but you can also, it's very clear in the rules, if you knock somebody out, you're just the winner. There's no judgment in that.
That's true.
The judgment is really just a tiebreaker at the end of the day. I think for me, you need a clear, defined set of rules and objectives on how you win, per se, in your sport. And you also obviously have to exert some sort of physical activity while doing it.
That's the key, the physical activity.
Yeah.
Would you consider swimming a sport? Because I would. Because it's timed as well. So it's whoever finishes first. It's kind of like a race. Is a race a competition or is a race a sport?
Both.
I mean, that's where we're kind of getting on the edge. I would say, if we want to broaden my definition a little bit, there kind of needs to be a schedule and a playoff system for that to work. And things like swimming, there's not necessarily I mean, I guess there is a qualified schedule and there's competition there, but it's not you have to qualify for these events.
Well, would you still a playoff system you would consider to be a sport if it has a playoff system?
Well,
What about tennis?
I mean, there's still like the tournaments in tennis and things like that too, and
That's
like
a
you
tournament.
are
That's a tournament. That's
hitting
not
a
a
ball
playoff.
back and forth, so that does fall under the definition.
I mean, well, then what's your definition of a tournament? Because, like, for example, the Premier League in soccer, that's not, there's no playoffs in there, but you could consider the league itself as its own tournament in a way.
Well, I still think that falls under like there's still a ball or like there's an object being passed around, and there's so like that would still be a sport in my eyes.
Gotta be honest, I have no idea based on this discussion what qualifies as sport. I'm just
Yeah,
really
no,
confused.
now I'm just lost in the sauce. I don't even know what is sport and what's not.
Really, at the end of the day, it just comes down to whatever your own subjective meaning of sport is, and just roll with it. Whatever you think it is, it's probably fine. There's definitely someone that agrees with you.
Well, moving on now, as we talked about, the 4th of July was this weekend, a little American Pride segment here. We're just going to run through a couple of what we consider American heroes at the moment. Is that what you would say? Starting off with Coco Gauff. You know who Coco Gauff is there, Gibbs?
Tell me who Coco Gauff is, Pete.
She's a 15-year-old playing at Wimbledon.
15 years old, wow.
Imagine being at Wimbledon at 15. What were you doing at 15?
I don't know.
I don't
God knows
wanna-
I wasn't playing tennis and beating Venus Williams when I was 15 years old.
Well, she won the other day, too. She fought off a couple of match points in the second set, won the third set. She's won, I believe, 3 rounds now. She probably had to qualify to get in there as well.
So she's still on a run?
Still going, plays tomorrow.
She's in the last 16, right?
Yes, she is.
As of today.
But
As a
is it a sport?
Yes. We already established that. Did you not pay attention?
I
to
don't
last?
really think tennis was one of those like borderline
No,
sports.
not at all. I mean, Coco Gauff may have beat Venus Williams at 15, but we started our own podcast when we were 22. So who's the real athlete?
Exactly.
Definitely not us.
Her.
I mean, the way this is going, we probably have a higher like earning potential than she does.
Doubt it.
There's the optimism, Trev.
Get self-promotion. You gotta push it.
Well, tonight, moving on to more American sports, the men's soccer plays tonight in the Gold Cup. And if you don't know what the Gold Cup is, that makes sense because it's not a huge tournament. Of course, it's on the same day as the women's tournament. What are you looking for in the Gold Cup tonight, Gibbs? What's your soccer analysis?
You know I have absolutely zero soccer analysis.
Good to hear. Moving on to now, we have a hot dog eating contest segment here. Gibbs, I think you want to take this one away for us?
Yeah, let's do it. A select few athletes are so iconic, they're known by just a single name. Jordan, Tiger, Shaq, Brady, LeBron, and of course, Kobayashi. The godfather of competitive eating and 6-time champion of the Nathan's hot dog eating contest. Known for his revolutionary water dipping technique and body wiggling maneuver, the Kobayashi shake, he's given credit for widely popularizing the sport of competitive eating.
Way to fight through the word popular there.
We're trying. In his rookie appearance at the Nathan's Coney Island hot dog eating contest, he ate 50 hot dogs in 12 minutes, which doubled the previous record of 25. He sent organizers of the event running, looking for signs how to indicate how many hot dogs he already eaten because they ran out. They weren't expecting him to eat that many. He went on to break his own record 3 times. However, due to contract sanctions by the MLE, that's the Major League Eating Association, I guess, he was unable to compete in the event after 2009. This would be like banning Brady from the NFL or LeBron from the NBA. In a sport that is now dominated by Joey Chestnut, who downed 71 hot dogs this past July 4th. His nearest competitor only had 50. There's no competition. So I'm saying let there be competition again. The National Hot Dog Eating Contest occurs on July 4th, a day that stands for freedom. Kobayashi is anything but free. # free Kobe.
I totally agree with you there. His ban in 2009 probably robbed this country of the greatest sporting rivalry we would ever see.
Free Kobe! Free Kobe! Free Kobe! Free Kobe!
Free Kobe.
Lovely segment there, Gibbs.
A legend.
Now, did they celebrate when they win the any kind of celebration move? I know
I watched the little hot dog eating contest, and there wasn't too much celebration. It was just guys looking
down in them,
looking in pain.
All right, yeah, that's what I'd imagine it to be. I think it's kind of gross, the hot dog eating contest.
the most disgusting thing to watch. I mean, Chestnut I think he threw down 71 hot dogs.
How many did he throw up?
I don't know. Like, I feel like a lot of those guys are like big, but then some of them, like Chestnut's not a big guy.
Well, they dip it in water too, so it slides
They just
down
slide
easier.
right.
It's gross,
Disgusting.
man.
Speaking of celebrations, going back to the women's national team, what did you guys think of the controversy surrounding Alex Morgan's tea sipping celebration?
Oh, I loved it.
There should be no controversy. Like, I thought that was actually hilarious.
I did too.
No,
I
thought
feel
the same.
Like, I feel like the controversy just kind of came from the first game where they beat a team 13-0 and it riled everyone up. Like,
And we're so good.
Yeah.
I mean, people are going to hate on the team that's the best.
I mean, any tournament that team enters, they're the clear favorite. So I guess people looking at it from the outside are like, well, you were supposed to beat them. Why are you so into this, essentially? But I mean, at the same time, they work really hard to get to that point. So why shouldn't they be able to celebrate it?
I agree with you, Trev. Talking about celebrations this week, and then do you guys watch the fireworks? No, Gibbs and I did. Trev, what about you?
Watched a little bit.
We're talking about firework names, isn't that right, Gibbs?
yeah, we were having a little fun over the weekend and came up with a few fireworks names. You want to read through them for us, Pete?
We're watching. Obviously, this is taking place in the middle of the road, as fireworks do, at least safe fireworks. And we saw a couple hit a house. We saw all sorts of things. Saw some animals reacting. So kind of came up with a few names. The first one, the house burner.
That's a good one. I would definitely buy that firework. I think it could do some damage.
How about the dog barker?
I like house burner better.
Of course, this podcast is pro dog. We're just having some fun.
It is. Well, no, because once it launched off, the dogs are always barking. I would
Gets them
too.
going, yeah.
If I had no idea what was going on. What are the names you got?
We're also discussing the missing finger.
Oh, the missing finger. I forgot about that
A
one.
classic, yeah. Got to be careful out there.
Maybe just a hand. I have no idea.
I know when we were having fun out at Bryce's, we heard of a bunch of ambulances and everything going back, and I had to think someone probably lost a couple fingers that
Maybe
day.
a hand or two. It's just.
It's all part of the fun.
I mean, it is the Potocs. They like to live on the edge.
Trev, you got any other firework names off the top of your head?
Ooh, how about the hospital bill?
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a good one.
So just kind of keeping the July 4th and celebration discussion going, what do you think the best celebration in sports is?
Ooh, not the Ronaldo one. Trev, am I right? Not the Cristiano Ronaldo one.
No, that's definitely not. I will give a shout out to my boy Ross Chastain, who he won a race in NASCAR on Friday, and he celebrated by getting a watermelon out on the front stretch and just smashing it and then eating the smashed pieces.
That's one way to celebrate.
It was wild.
I mean, everyone loves a good watermelon. It's a great fruit.
Of course, his family is are watermelon farmers too, so it made sense.
I can't transition. Someone talk about somebody else first. I can't.
I mean, I think the most iconic celebration is just the Tiger Woods fist bump.
I was going to do it, but I didn't want to say it.
It's just, I mean, it hasn't been there in a while, but just when he's wearing that red fist bump, it's
Red on
incredible.
Sundays, like Ron Swanson.
And then I got another one, the Iverson step over, when he stepped over.
And that was not planned either.
Is that Ty Lue?
Yeah, Ty Lue. Yeah. And then I think Ray Lewis, his dance.
No.
Terrell Owens, OBJ,
Popcorn.
Chad Johnson, they always had something interesting.
I mean, Rocky Balboa yelling, Adrian, after he won that fight.
Who is that one Notre Dame? They made that movie, the Notre Dame walk on, Rudy, and they all chanted Rudy when he made a tackle or something.
Air Bud?
Bud?
Is that not it?
I don't remember
Which
Air
Air Bud are
Bud's
we
celebration,
talking
yeah.
about?
There's more than one.
There's 5 of them.
Oh my
I
god.
think the football one was Air Bud Golden Receiver.
Is he a free agent during the NBA season? You think the Pistons could sign Air Bud?
No.
I think he'd be better than Bruce Brown.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, how are you going to guard a dog?
It's true. It's faster than you probably.
Yeah. I mean, you can't get low enough to steal it from him either.
Well, now moving on, I believe, to the last 2 segments here. Again, back by popular demand. Gibbs, it's time for Pete's sake.
Let's hear it, Pete.
So, Gibbs, today I'll be focusing on the biggest epidemic in America today. Any guesses what that is?
Obesity?
Polio.
It's good guesses, guys, but there actually is.
Oh man.
It actually is. There are too many game shows on television these days. What do you guys think?
I mean, I think you're right.
I'm not sure if I'm sold. I gotta hear your take.
Well, now I'm not talking about Jeopardy or Wheel of Fortune. Those are the classics.
Of course.
Yeah, the OGs.
I'm talking about the growing number of pointless, mundane programs that television networks keep throwing at us. So, Gibbs, here are a list of the game shows that I came across while scrolling through the channels just the other night. Ellen's Game of Games, where contestants compete for prizes through a series of ridiculous, you guessed it, games.
Oh man.
If I wanted to watch
Who
the
would've
voice
thought?
of Dory from Finding Nemo, that was Ellen, by the way, I could literally just turn on the television any time in the afternoon because Ellen is literally always on television. Hollywood Game Night. It's hosted by Jane Lynch, where contestants sit on a couch and compete in crazy games that resemble family fun. What happened to the real family game nights?
That's my point. Why can't you just have that with your own family?
Exactly, where you would break out the Monopoly board, fight over which piece was yours, like the wheelbarrow or the thimble,
What about the car though?
just for you to go bankrupt in 10 turns to watch your friend's dad clean house and say, better luck next time, bud, Mr. Molnar.
He does seem like he'd be good at Monopoly.
By the way, a lot of blonde, lesbian female game hosts. You notice that? Ellen, Jane Lynch there? Quite the gig.
Jane Lynch is lesbian?
She is.
Did not know that. You learn
Did we just break that?
You learn something new every day.
Who wants to be a millionaire?
I mean, that's a
Hey,
classic.
don't hate on that show.
Apparently not enough people watch it because, guys, it's going off air this year.
I mean,
Oh, no.
the aura of being a millionaire, just with inflation, it's becoming like less and less impressive, I guess. So
Let's make a deal? No. I don't think...
just no.
A putt-putt show called Holy Moly?
I watched an episode of that 2 nights
That's with
ago.
the Steph Curry, right?
Yeah.
Well, get out to the course and go putt yourself.
That
Oh.
honestly, that show's dangerous. Some dude fell going up a slope and like I think he literally like broke his nose before he could even like putt anything. It was just weird. That show reminds me of Wipeout, except like it's 50% commentary.
Family Feud.
Okay, that's a good one.
You want to see a real Family Feud, Gibbs? Just bring up the word immigration at your next family gathering. Watch that grenade go off.
No, it's funny because it's actually like true.
Beat Shazam, a music trivia show where you have to guess the correct song title before time runs out. That one's actually pretty good. I like that one. It's pretty good. I like that one. But to wrap up my point, only us as proud Americans can put an end to this widespread issue. We can take a stand, literally, and walk outside to have some old-fashioned family fun. At your next picnic or graduation party, break out the cornhole or the frisbee, or any other activity that doesn't have a TV game show dedicated to it. Because you know one day there actually will be.
Amen to that.
For sure. Want to end this podcast by talking about the internet's favorite, I don't know what to call her, but have you guys heard of Belle Delphine?
No.
No, I've not.
I'm going to Google her.
You're missing out. Basically, she's one of these Instagram models that, from what I can tell, the basic appeal of her is that in a lot of her pictures, she makes the sort of anime, like, ooh-woo face.
Do you follow her, Trev?
I do not, but I should. But anyway, she's very popular on Instagram. She has nearly 4 million followers.
Yeah, some
has
interesting stuff is popping up.
Has
Yeah.
some premium Snapchats. Like I said, the appeal of her is that she's basically a real-life anime girl.
Kind of looks like Halsey a little bit.
Well, she's been making...
I see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. She's been making some waves on the internet lately for some of her content. For example, she posted a video of her opening a fridge with her inside. But the big one here is that she has decided to sell her own bathwater on the internet for $30 a piece. And I got to ask you guys.
How much bathwater do you get?
It's like a little, like, it's almost like a, like, sort of concealer, like, sized thing, so it's not very big. But I got to ask you guys,
Man, it's whack.
how horny do you have to be to actually buy this and, like, it just baffles me. And also, there was a story that came out 2 days like after this went live, somebody drank it and got sick.
Oh
Why
man.
would you drink it?
Oh.
I mean, people are weird, man.
What do you think's gonna happen?
There are some people that are just that desperate, and
So it's just water that she's been in?
it's water that she has bathed in. Which one way there's no way of verifying that.
That's
How
so
do we make that a
gross.
game show?
Oh.
Drink Belle Delphine's bathwater.
Or should I say, is that a sport?
I mean, you're putting your digestive system through a lot. It's working. Tried to digest soap, but
There's some. She does look like an anime character.
I
That's
mean,
crazy.
at the end of the day, as much as we can make fun of the people who actually buy this product, she did somehow realize there was a market for it, and I gotta respect the craft. If you are at the point where you're selling your own bath water for $30, fair game.
Yeah, I agree.
Good for her.
To answer your question, yeah, I'd probably buy it. What about you, Gibbs?
I'm out.
Supposed to say yes.
I don't make enough on this podcast.
I'm
to
gonna
be
do
able to
it for
afford
research purposes.
For once we make our first $30, then we'll get one for the crew there.
We're almost there.
Once we get a camera on this podcast, it'll be part of the background as a tub of Belle Delphine bathwater.
Oh, seriously, no, I would not buy that. That's gross.
I mean, imagine, there's definitely some teenager out there who's like using their parents' credit card to buy it.
Oh.
How do they explain that once that comes up on the statement?
What do you do with it? You just have it?
I mean, I guess some people just have it. Obviously, that one guy drank it.
Oh.
Maybe some people like pour it on themselves. Who knows? Maybe you collect them all and like literally take a bath in her bath water.
That's so gross.
It doesn't make sense to me either.
People are gross, man.
People are gross, desperate, and stupid. That's the one takeaway you should take from this podcast.
Thanks, Trev. Thanks for bringing that story to us. Big wacky story for Trev. His
I'd
new
actually-
segment here.
I'd actually rather not even know. that
I
was going
enjoyed
on.
learning about that. Something that I
Yeah,
better
I mean,
listen.
I guess it's interesting. All right, Pete, we got anything good next week for the show that we want to plug?